What's going on, family? How is everybody doing? Get your libations. You're gonna need them tonight. Listen, we got some things to talk about tonight, but we got to take care of business first. So please, 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 please hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Hit that like button for me. Also, if you want to donate, you can go to donatebrown.com, patreon.com/ycarnell. Shirts in the description. Also, but the most important thing is that you hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell if you have not hit the bell to get notifications. That is very important. And go to subscribe to Brown, subscribe.tobrown.com. If I don't have your email address, I promise not to spam you. I promise not to overuse it. I promise not to do any of the things that will get on your nerves. So please, please, please do that for me. Do not forget, it's December. Do not forget January the 30th. That's the last Thursday in January. Please do not forget, we will be reading They Were Her Property. So please do not forget to borrow the book, check out the book, buy the book, do what you have to do. White women as slave owners in the American South. Do not forget that we will be, popped out the frame. Do not forget that we will be, that's the book that we will be reading for our book club. And please show up for the book club. This is about political education. So please show up for the book club. Now listen, we're going to have to just get into it. We're going to have to just get into it. Antonio Moore, our own Antonio Moore, did a video about the Ghana trip, you know, the return, the homegoing, return of royalty and all of this sort of thing. For those of you who don't know, let me give you a little bit of backstory. I've heard a bit about this. Now, it wasn't just, it was, do we all remember, while we do the backstory, that the Congressional Black Caucus was there, right? Nancy Pelosi and the CBC, the whole gang was there. We remember that, right? Everybody's going to Ghana to visit the slave castle, and this is you know, this is the 400-year anniversary, and you're gonna, in my mind, and let me just give you a little bit about the framing of how I see it. You made money off the sale of the slaves, and who is us, and we're kind of an amalgamation. We're not one thing. We're descendants. I've said it before, but some people tend to forget. We are the descendants of both slaves and slave owners and slave masters, right? That's who we are. We're a unique amalgamation. We're not one thing. We are our own thing. We are our own little American creation. That's who we are. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We were not the Africans who sold us here. We were not the Europeans who bought us. We didn't have nothing to do with none of that. This is who we are, though. You can't just claim us as this or that. So let's get back to these people who are going to Ghana. So we saw this one, you know, they holding hands. That's Nancy Pelosi and Representative Ilhan Omar. That's Pelosi and it's such a special little sight, and you know, and everybody's going to Ghana. Yvette, are you going to Ghana? Nope. Have you ever visited any other country on the continent? Yes. So why aren't I going? Well, I want to just build on some of the stuff that Antonio Moore already said, because when you talk about the why, let me just put this out here first, before I even go into the rest of the context and with the problem, before I forget, I know it's wrote down somewhere here, but before I forget, let me just say this. If you were going to do some kind of special return trip, you would have to do a special kind of cost for ADOS. Right? Like some kind of deal or something where you do something where the American government pays part and then Ghana pays part, and you just want us to come there and visit, as opposed to fleecing us. Well, what do you mean? Well, let me tell you a story. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about a lot of people who were visiting. I saw Pastor Jamal Bryant. I saw T.I. I saw a lot of very movements of people going to Ghana. And it said, wait a minute, this isn't just about homegoing. What else is going on here? And I saw this man. Now I'm going to put a pin in this, because this was on Boyce Watkins, Bitcoin Boyce. This was on his Instagram, right? And he describes this man, because y'all get on me all the time, and y'all get on me and Antonio. What do y'all call Byron Allen a billionaire? Why do you do that? Because we've done the valuations of buying the Weather Channel and all of that. Okay, now I want you to look at something very closely. At the bottom here, you see the real Boyce Watkins say, billionaire Mike Roberts describes the wealth that lives in Africa. Now, first of all, I don't think these people even know that Africa is not a country. You're talking about Ghana. Africa has got 54 countries we talked about. What are you talking about, the wealth that lives in Africa? Every country is different. And they're not even interconnected. It's not even like when you go to different countries in Europe, and you can plot here. There's a train that goes from here to here, and it goes all the way through these Alpine, whatever. You don't have that. So what are you even talking about when you say Africa? Obviously, you don't even understand what you're talking about. But I want you to put a pin in it, because I'm going to come back to this man. Pay close attention to this man, because once you understand this man and who he is and what has happened, you understand why he's in Ghana And then you also understand why Boyce is in Ghana. If you connect it, you can connect it all together. I'm going to tie a line. I'm going to draw a line from one thing all the way to the other thing. So let's just go through it, shall we? All these people were there. Now, I want to talk a little bit, first of all, about cost. Okay? I'm going to talk about these packages. So let me see if I can find the packages that are being sold. You say, well, Yvette, that's not cost prohibitive. Well, wait a minute. We got to talk about what is and what is not cost prohibitive. So you have these return of the African diaspora continues. Through the door of no return in Ghana after 400 plus years in the Americas. Well, see, for me, if you call it the door of no return, I don't return. I don't come back through the door of no return. That seems like I'm just asking for trouble. But you go here, and this is a 10-day tour, 8 days apparently. Because they're counting the travel days, apparently, or something. It's weird. But it's 8 days, and it says starting at only 4,609. Starting. Middle black families worth 1,700. Starting. This is being marketed to us. Starting at 4,695. Okay? Starting right there. Now let's pay close attention to that, family. Pay close attention to that starting price. Because we're going to go somewhere with this. Ghana's trying to push tourism. So the hotel that they're pushing is this $200 a night hotel. Now understand something. You're paying American prices. You're paying first world prices in the third world, or whether you want to call it underdeveloped, whatever you want to call it. And don't tell me, I know what you're about to say. Well, Yvette, if you go to Jamaica, you might pay those prices too. Guess what though? While we talking about it, let me tell you what. Jamaica has a whole tourism industry where they train people early on how to do X, Y, and Z, how to have a wonderful tourism industry. It's been that way for a long time. All of Americans everywhere have been there for a long time. You don't have that in Ghana. You want that. And that's part of why you pushing these. It's the Labadia Beach Hotel. It's on here somewhere. Let me see if I can get it. Here we go. Now I want to tell you something else. I watched one of Boyce's videos, and the hotel didn't look like this when he was walking. The hotel did not look like this. And somebody in the comments, there were a lot of wonderful comments under Antonio Moore's video. So on the Tone Talks video, check that out if you have a chance. But let's just do a little mailbag right now to provide some context for the area and the hotel and how this $200 per night in this hotel don't make no sense. I did a little bit of gathering information. Ghana's not Jamaica. So let's just go through some hotels really quickly, shall we? Can we? Now I started with Atlanta because, it's my area. Doubletree Hilton Atlanta, 143. Georgia Tech and Hotel and Conference, 206. Now this is America. This is right here. With all of the infrastructure of a developed nation as opposed to an underdeveloped nation. The whole point a lot of times of going, for those people who do travel, the whole point of going a lot of times to these third world or underdeveloped countries is because people tell you the cost of living is cheap. Everything is cheaper there. So I get to go and have a beach and have a nice time, and it's cheaper. It's not cheaper though if you're going to charge me the same thing for a hotel or the same thing for a meal that I have in America, unless you have a really developed and wonderful tourism industry like a Jamaica. Then you can consider whether or not that makes sense. How does it make sense? And especially if you tell us that we family, right? We coming home. That's what we doing. We coming home. But you're charging me the same prices. I don't get a family discount. You know who gets discounts though? Ghanaians. Other Ghanaians. And you'll say to me, watch it. I know what you'll say. Well, Yvette, they're poor and they don't have as much money as we do. We don't have money either when we're in America. We're in America. We have no money here. This is the richest country in the world. We don't have money either. But put a pin in it, just like you put a pin in the earlier billionaire. We're going to come back to it. Let's just keep, for right now, looking at hotels, right? People talking about they going to move there. A lot of people go there. Nobody ever seems to move. Nobody ever seems to stay there. Everybody comes and goes back to different countries in Africa. See, I might move there one day. You never do. I never see you there. This is the Hilton Garden Inn, Atlanta, $139 a night. Right? If you want to go to $250, you can go to a resort here in Atlanta, right? We're in Georgia, the Fox Hill Resort. Well, maybe you want to go, if you know, if you want to go to Alpharetta, you 142, right? Okay, let's say you want to go to Miami and you don't want to spend big money. Well, you know, 168, but they charging 200 a night in Ghana. See, let me just slow down for a second and say something. I don't think a lot of us understand how vast America is. And I mean that in a very specific way. America is a very big country. If you ever get a chance, just put a bunch of countries beside, just take them and put them like, get a real map that fits to size, proportionality, and put a bunch of different countries in them, and you'll see like, wow, America's a big country. And it's also a country that's very diverse. So we have, you can ski if you want to ski, if you have the money, you can ski. You can go to Florida, you can go to California, you can go to Georgia, has Savannah. We got temperate weather, we got slopes, we got mountains, we got hills, we got desert, we got whatever you want in one country. You really, if you want a vacation, you don't have to go anywhere unless you're a bottom caste and it's cost prohibitive. So really the thing that you want in America is to not be a bottom caste, so you can have access to what America has, because America has better beaches and better everything than Ghana, and they're gonna charge you a whole lot more to go there just so you can say I'm reconnecting. $200 a night. Go to you can catch a quick flight. You can catch a quick flight, a cheap flight to Miami and go to a beach right here or anywhere, LA, wherever you want to go. We got beaches everywhere. Fort Lauderdale, where you want to go? Where you want to be? We got coastlines all, you know, where you want to go? Okay. Well, you say, well, Yvette, I don't understand why you would say that. I don't understand because, you know, we a bottom caste. We shouldn't want to go home. We shouldn't want to be. That's not your home, first of all. And let me see, you know, they're charging you. Remember what I said about what they're charging. Remember the $4,000 some odd dollars, $4,600. What was it? Now, why are you charging that? So it's $200 a night. It's 8 nights, right? So it's $200 a night. Do the math. Y'all do the math. 208. What's that? Because it's 10. It's 10 days. It's 10, but it's only 8 nights. So that's $1,600. Okay. Here's the flight. Because everybody said you can't do it like that. It's a flight. That flight's gonna be at least $2,000. No. You can get a flight for like $800. Let's say you pay $1,000. What are you at like now? Like $2,600 or something? Why are you charging me something starting at the price that you quoted? The price point doesn't make any sense. That price point doesn't make any sense. If I'm paying $800 for a ticket and I'm already paying $200 a night, which is too much. This starting at, what is it, $4,700 doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're trying to fleece me with this idea that we back home. Because I watched the Boyce Watkins videos and they was putting bracelets on him and they dressed him up as Fred Flintstone, and he felt important and powerful, and they gave him a new African name, and so he never gonna use that name. What they call you? They call you this, they call me that. And I think people just ain't never been here. Why would you go there as opposed to, like, if you were gonna go somewhere in America, or go to Jamaica? Why would you go somewhere? So Jamaica's a skip and a hop. Like, why would you do that? Because you're going to see family? See, sometimes you just have to face the fact that stuff don't make sense. Sometimes you just have to face the fact that stuff don't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, if you're looking at something that doesn't make sense, that means there's a lie in there somewhere. All you got to do is find the lie. If it don't make sense, there's a lie embedded in there somewhere, and you got to figure it out. So let's get back to the business of figuring it out. Let's just get back to the business of it. Now, all of you folks who say you want to move to Africa, or you want to move to Ghana. You didn't say you want to move to Kenya or Eritrea or Ethiopia. You want to move to Ghana. That's the country. Stop saying, I'm going to be in Africa. No, you want to move to a country. I could even, if you said West Africa, so we could say, well, Nigeria. Okay. Why do you want to stay at this resort area that's away from the people? I don't understand. Why don't you want to stay here? 17 a night. So why are you charging me $200? Why are you charging me American prices? Those are not the prices over there. They don't make the same thing. The reason stuff is priced the way it's priced over here in America is because we make more money. Why are you pricing that stuff that way? You don't even have a tourism industry. You haven't even built up your space over there the same way other countries that have a tourism industry have built up that space. So why are you charging me $200? And if y'all want to be around the people, I don't even understand why you don't go and be around the people. Go pay your $13 a night. You're thinking about moving there because you're gonna have to move there if you're gonna do business there. You can't manage your business over here. You gotta be living there, or at least have a home there, but nah, if you got a home there and then get broke into, a lot of stuff. Nah, you gotta be there. See, I'm tired of people talking about, they want to do business in Ghana or wherever they want to do business at, and you don't go there. What are you doing? Go there, boys. Like, go there, be there, and then let us know how it all work out. Don't just come and say, well, we don't know, and I was there, and I'm thinking about doing something in the future. No, you don't even talk about your Bitcoin no more. What happened with that? You was doing classes, and pretty soon we're gonna have a return to Ghana class. How to invest in Ghanaian property from America. $499.99 from the Black Business School. And we're going to get back to the billionaire in a second. But let me just say this. Do the math. You $200 in Ghana a night. 8 nights, that's $1,600. Right? Let me get my calculator there. So the flight is $700. That's $2,300. Okay? The tour is $7, right? $7 or something like that, $7, $8. Why are you charging me $5,000? I still haven't figured it out. Is there some kind of special rice stew or something I'm eating? Why is this a $5,000 tour? See, and then if you have a second person coming with you and they're going to stay in your hotel room, why do they get charged $5,000 too? They should just have to pay the fee to like the $8 or $7 that you pay to go see the stuff. Mind you, you charge the Ghanaians, like, you charge us 8 times more than you charge the Ghanaians, but we family, right? And it's a homegoing. But you charge them like $1 and charge us $8, and you charge us all this money for the tour, right? It doesn't. Somebody gonna have to make this make sense. So you're gonna charge $10,000 for 2 people? So 2 ADOS come over, that's gonna be $10,000. Why? Because you're gonna cry on me and tell me, and you put a bracelet on me and tell me we all good, and I'm supposed to cry in the slave castle. What are we doing? Don't make no sense to me. I'm in the chat. Can y'all make it make sense? I'm just trying to figure it out. You gonna charge me $10,000 for like a $3,200 trip to an underdeveloped country with no tourism booming business or infrastructure? Don't make no sense. And let me show you something. Let's have a little mailbag time. I didn't bring in the mailbag intro, but let's do a little mailbag time. There's some very interesting comments. Um, Very interesting comments and tweets about this. I just want to put a few of them up. Almost every attraction has a Ghanaian price and a non-Ghanaian price. For example, to visit the Cape Coast Slave Castle costs me 40, what their money is, GHS, $7, but the Ghanaian, a dollar, less than a dollar for my Ghanaian friend. It really didn't bother me though. Everything was really inexpensive on both. But see, that's what people say, like it's inexpensive. But we family though, right? Why we not paying the same thing? Another interesting comment. The black people in power there are mostly descended from the very same tribes that engage in slave profiteering with whites that traded for us. They got umbrellas, mirrors, liquor, and candy for us, and now they want more. We should get free entry for what they did to our ancestors. They still have documentation of our tribal lineages, and that should also be provided for free before we engage in any so-called business with them. Another comment really quickly. I echo all you said and add to this. One, do not drink the municipal water. Anybody who is not Ghanaian, be it Nigerian, American, or European, will get overcharged. Ghanaian prices are for Ghanaians. I know because I married one and he has to go alone to do transactions without me. If it hasn't happened to you without me there, she's saying there. If it hasn't happened to you yet, they give ADOS the name Ibroni, which means white person, which goes to show that as homogenous as they are, it makes ADOS look like white folk. I don't see it, but they can tell we are not from there due to our complexion. We must need to we must need to bake in the sun for they being funny. But back to the Ibroni thing. Here's what they call, that's what she's talking about. Oberoni is not a direct translation of white. For most Ghanaians, an Oberoni refers to any person with lighter skin or straighter hair than a dark-skinned Ghanaian, Asian, Middle Eastern, and African American people are classified as Oberoni. Americans of Ghanaian descent are still considered Oberoni because they come from abroad. Oberoni are considered an amusing sight, especially in rural areas where children might follow a foreigner around chanting the word. That's nice. But it's home, right? It's home, right? We're coming home. It's a home going. It's a royal return. Isn't that the little thing the man had around his neck? Didn't he? So a package of $1,600, a flight of $700, $3,200. I'm still trying to figure out how this is $5,000. How do you get to 5,000? Somebody said something. Where is the other one too? Somebody had another comment. About the beach. Anyway, they said that beach was trash. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, it is all about, this is another comment, this isn't me. Yes, it is all about tourism and the US dollar. I spent almost 2 weeks in Ghana this year. I visited a few sites, including the Cape Coast Slave Castle. I went on my own for a lot cheaper than 5,000. See? You can find a round trip tickets from 700 to 1,200, which we did. The flights can be long because you will most likely have to transfer somewhere in Europe. You can find hotel rooms for as little as $40 a night, and you can rent a taxi and drive for a whole day for about $65. And a driver for a whole day for about $65. While the local Ghanaian is very friendly and welcoming, be aware that the government has embraced capitalism and the ills that it brings. I travel extensively on my own dime throughout the world. One great thing about being American is that I do not need a visa to go to most countries. However, to return to Ghana, you need a visa, which will cost you from $60 to $100 payable to the Ghanaian embassy in Washington, D.C. If you do not live in D.C. or New York City, you will have to mail your passport to the Ghanaian embassy in D.C. Having to send my passport to D.C. and pay $100 for a visit is a hindrance. Please know that the Labodi, whatever, beach is trashed. There is garbage and debris all over the beach, including rubber tires. Yes, half buried rubber tires in the sand. It is not artwork. It is garbage. People dump their garbage on the shores. The water looks scary up close. I wonder if there is E. coli lurking about. Yeah, that's what people need to understand. And this is I'm not even trying to hit Ghana. What you have to understand is that part of what develops in a first world nation is regulation, right? So you say I want to do business in Ghana, but you don't know anything about the court system. You don't know anything about what happens in America is that there are roads to travel. If somebody breaks into your store, that the police are going to come. You have universities everywhere, so that you have people to hire. That's all the infrastructure of a first world country. You don't have any of that there, and you don't have any knowledge because you haven't been. It's not like you went to school there, or you were there and you visited there a lot. You don't know. You just go in there and going off what somebody told you. So let me go back to the somebody. Because somebody told you. Because I was trying to figure out who told Boyce to take himself over there and be bothered with all of this. Who told him to do it? Who told him to go over there and dress up and point his big toe up? Who told you to do that? Well, it comes right back. It comes right back to this guy. It comes right back to the guy that Boyce said this is. If you go to his page, there's an interview. Go watch the interview. Because Boyce is very, 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 very deferential, and he tells him, like, you're a mogul. You're a hotel mogul. Right? That's what he tells him. Well, it's a very interesting story about that. See, if you're going to research a person, you have to do more than read the first article that comes up about that person. Because the first article that comes up about that person typically isn't the best thing for you to read. You have to read all the stuff about the person. You have to read a span, right? You have to read a number of years. What was their evolution? What did they do? How did they move? It's all very interesting, especially when it comes to this fellow. Now, this fellow's name, and he's one of a pair. His name is Mike Roberts. Now, it's not just him, it's somebody else too. Let's talk about it. Now, if you had just read this article, Fake It Till You Make It, you might think that these men are doing it big. They are moguls. They are moguls, right? Now, why would you think that? Why would you think that? Well, let me show you a little bit why you would think that. Now, I want you to first thing, when you read an article, the first thing you want to look at is the date. You see that date says 2000, October 15, 2000. Okay, let's go into the article. Michael Roberts and his brother Stephen have refined the practice into high art. What? Bluff. Already my antennas are up. Bluff? You faking? You faking it? Okay, that's fine. It happens. A couple of years ago, the small-time businessman from North St. Louis decided to cash in on the wireless craze. With no experience in the trade, they approached Thomas Mateer, vice president of affiliations at Sprint PCS in Kansas City, and put an offer on the table. Instead of Sprint's having to deal with dozens of little telecos in rural Missouri, the Robertses would build the cell phone network themselves and take a 90% piece of the action. Okay? That's the deal they set up. You already thinking, right? They doing it. They hoteliers, like somebody said in the chat. They hoteliers, they're doing it. They're doing it. In 2000, looked like they were. Let's keep going. They pay for the entire project themselves. $74 million in total, including $34 million for transmission equipment, $7 million for retail outlets, and $13 million for the licenses and equipment in 2 small urban markets Sprint owned. So understand what they're doing. Understand what they're doing. They're saying that, like, we got it. We got this for you. We got this for you. We're going to hook you up. Look, Sprint, we doing it. And if you have read this article way back then, you would have said, these black men are doing it. They are doing it. Look at them go. Go, black man, go. Got to read more than one article, boys, to figure out what's going on. But we're gonna continue with this one just so we understand. Just so we understand. Because there's a lot to understand. There's a lot that we have to understand. So let's go to this next one, fam. Let's go to this next one. And I kind of think, when I look at these articles, honestly, I think, you know, when you feeling yourself, you say stuff that you shouldn't say. And I feel like whoever wrote this Forbes article just kind of set them up. Like, you said a whole lot of stuff to kind of let people, just suggest it to the rest of the white capitalists that you're going to be doing business with. Like, these guys are kind of a joke. They just lie. Why would you tell that? Why would you, even if you were faking it till you make it, why would you tell this Forbes reporter that, right? Why would you admit that you're just kind of lying and you don't really have no money or whatever, and you got the loan and you're scrambling around? That's fine if you have to do it that way, but why would you admit that? Because that just sends the message to everybody you're gonna have to do business with. Oh, these dudes are they wild. So let's just go to the next quote. Just one problem about having the money. He was gonna have the money, do all this stuff for Sprint, right? That's what the Robertsons were gonna do. This is Boyce's guy. That's the guy you saw say, well, we should go to Ghana. He really didn't have that kind of dough. Notice how the article's even written dough. He really didn't have that kind of dough. It's kind of mocking. Mike approached Nortel Networks, which was providing equipment for the Sprint franchise, and hit it up for a loan. Even the language, he hit it up for a loan. Nortel agreed to match the $18 million in equity that they had from past deals. Hardly enough. So Mike took his offer to a competitor. I told Lucen, how would you like to have Missouri and take it from Nortel, he recalls. Lucen agreed to a $56 million loan to Roberts Wireless Communication with an interest rate of 4.5% above LIBOR and took the company as collateral. We grab at a chance and then figure out how we're going to do it and how we're going to pay for it, Mike laughs. Fake it till you make it. Now understand, let's make sure we're clear. That's Mr. Fake It Till You Make It. That's this guy right here, just so we don't get confused, who Boyce is talking about. Who Boyce is calling a billionaire. That's Mr. Fake It Till You Make It. And they did. In 10 months, they built a wireless system with 12,000 clients in an area with 1.5 million potential customers. But instead of staying in the business, they flipped it to Alamosa Holdings, a Sprint affiliate, for $400 million in cash and stock, which included $56 million in assumed debt. So you look at this article and be like, yes, they got $300 million in something in cash. They doing it. The brothers is doing it. That's what you think. In 2000, yes, that's what you think. Let's keep going. Let's get through it. Here's him talking again. The Robertses, and here goes Mike. I learned to come across as if I were succeeding, Mike says. No one really wants to be in the presence of someone who is broke or looks broke. Pay attention. His life in business and acting. Notice how the writer is throwing shade all the way through this. Notice that. His life in business and acting started after he graduated from St. Louis University's law school. Mike passed himself off as a consultant and began advising corporations on how to avoid discrimination and sexual harassment suits. My lawyer friend put me in a Lincoln Continental and let me wear his seersucker suits to meetings, he says. With the little bit in fees that came in, Roberts invested in rundown urban real estate that he bought for next to nothing, remodeled and sold for a profit. So what were you doing? Were you gentrifying? But how do I know that anything about your gunner idea is real? Because you said you just be fraud. You just be faking it till you make it. I fraud and I do a little fraud. You know, I make people believe I'm something I'm not. I said I was a consultant and I really wasn't. I just went in there. I was trying to get the money. So this is where you and boys are the same. Y'all all just trying to get the money. Right? So that's what you said. I just be, you know, I kind of pretend. I do my thing. I get to the money. I get to the bag. I gotta find a way to get to the bag. He was trafficking. He's light-skinned, right? I can say that as a light-skinned person. He's light-skinned. He was trafficking off looking like, you know, like Thurgood Marshall or somebody in a seersucker suit on boule. And back then we had strong programs to try to like give stuff and opportunities to black people. But a certain kind of black person. If he came off, if you was a Negro, if you was a light-skinned Negro in a seersucker suit, that's what you were trying to come off as. Or what's the other very light-skinned congressman? Somebody tell me. Oh, I was reading about him today. You remember? What was his name? He was a really light-skinned congressman. Gosh, come on, Chad. What was his name? It's gonna bother me. No, not Butterfield. He was Adam Clayton Powell. Adam Clayton Powell. Thank you, KNGR. Adam Clayton Powell. That's who he was trying to mimic. Adam Clayton Powell. You would think Adam Clayton Powell was Italian or something. He didn't even, you know, he best dressed, slick back hair, but it wasn't even. It was straight. It was, you know, he could flick it like fluh. That's what he was trying to mimic. He was trying, because that was the look. That was the boule look. Adam Clayton Powell sailed the Mediterranean after like graduation of college or something. That's boule. Now he did a lot of good stuff. I'm not saying nothing bad about him, but I'm saying that this was the look that this man right here, who Boyce is calling a billionaire, was trying to mimic, this hotelier. Okay, let's keep it going though. Light skin looking like civil rights. Yes, that's what he was going for. And at the end, they talk about what the company was. Today, their enterprises, collectively called Roberts Cars, gross $30 million a year. 90% of their 200 employees are black and Hispanics. The Robertses are worth at least $300 million. That's what the Forbes was saying in 2000. Oh, look at them go! But hold on, they didn't keep going in that trajectory to reach billionaire status. Some stuff fell apart. The Roberts brothers agreed to $35.9 million judgment. This was in 2012. Pay attention to dates always, fam. Always pay attention to dates. Right? Always pay attention. And we're going to go through a few quotes, but just put up a couple of headlines. Roberts Hotel in Dallas sold in bankruptcy for $3.5 million. Now these are the brothers. Understand that this one right here, the one on the right that you see with all the bankruptcies and different things going on, is the one right here with the return to Ghana outfit on that Boyce is calling a billionaire. Well, something funny happened on the way to the bank. Oh, let me make this a little bit. Well, I don't have to. The Roberts brothers brought an end to their legal wrangling with Bank of America on Monday. Now they just owe $35.9 million. Michael and Steve Roberts entered a consent judgment in federal court in St. Louis with the big lender over unpaid loans on 6 hotels they own. The two sides had reached a settlement in July with an agreement that the Robertses would sell the hotels to pay back their debt. But the sale never happened. Earlier this month, Earlier this month, the bank asked the judge to enforce the terms of the agreement. Monday, both sides agreed to a consent judgment. Well, what happened? The Robertsons have seen their real estate empire come apart over the course of the last year, and hotels located in Dallas, Tampa, Atlanta, Houston, Shreveport, Louisiana, and South Carolina were all placed under bankruptcy protection after Bank of America filed suit in April. The Robertsons have reached a deal to sell their Spartanburg property. According to the bankruptcy court filings, no price was available. The rest are still on the market. It is unlikely, industry experts say, that they would fetch enough to pay down the full $36 million. But the Roberts could negotiate a lower sum with Bank of America, and they do have other resources. And that was, what was that date? That was 2012. This was also 2012. Another bankruptcy for the Roberts brothers, right? In an interview with the Post-Dispatch Monday, the Roberts brothers said they're turning to Chapter 11 as a means to stave off foreclosure proceedings. Bank of America filed suit in federal court on April 3rd, alleging that the brothers, that was the part we just talked about, owed $34 million, 6 hotels, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah. Let's keep going. It's an interesting story. The Roberts brothers, both former St. Louis aldermen, own a wide range of businesses, including 11 hotels, 4 TV stations, and multiple real estate properties across the country, including the Roberts Mayfair Hotel and the Roberts Orpheum Theater in downtown St. Louis. Their broadcasting company, also in bankruptcy, and some real estate holdings in St. Louis are struggling. Hold on. Let's keep going for a second, and we're going to get out of here. Michael and Stephen Roberts called the bankruptcy filing a strategic decision. The court-supervised process will give them a chance to reduce debt and more time to find new capital. Find new capital. Why would a billionaire need to find new capital? The bankruptcy on the Houston property was filed first because the looming foreclosure hearing. See, let me tell you what's happening. These guys are running because what happened is now your name is mud. Like Bank of America and had to chase you for this money, so now your name is mud. So you got to go do something else. It's good to go somewhere else that's unregulated. I don't even know what happened. I don't know that it's your fault or whatever you did. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, this stuff you did here didn't work out. You're not a billionaire. I don't know what voice is talking. You're not a billionaire. You're looking for capital. Billionaires don't run around looking for capital. Okay, the hotel business but here's how it all fell apart. The hotel business got behind, they said, when the soft economy cut bookings at most of the hotels, but the brothers had continued to make interest payments on the loans. Only interest, they said. They did not, however, pay property tax on some hotels in recent years while waiting for results to improve, which technically put the loans in default. In another suit from lender Pulaski Bank last week, sued the Robertses over a construction loan tied to their Comfort Inn hotel in Central West End. The lawsuit alleges the brothers are in default on the loan and owe $6.9 million in principal and interest. And last October, Roberts Broadcasting, the arm that owns their TV and radio stations, filed bankruptcy. Roberts Broadcasting is seeking to sell one or more of its TV stations to pay creditors. Michael Roberts says Michael Roberts says the recession hurt the hotel business, conventions declined, and a drop in advertising hurt TV ad sales. Their real estate holdings, in some cases, have fared better. They stress doesn't look like it, and are poised to make money in the recovery. Stephen Roberts said the brothers intend to make good on their debts, but in a cash crunch, they have had to make tough choices about who to pay first. We pay our bills, look at our history, but we got to make tough choices about who to pay first. It's rough out here. Then you try to recreate yourself. After losing big, Michael Roberts resurfaces to offer secrets of success. In 2016, Bank of America still couldn't collect. Let me see if I have it. So wait a minute. In 2016, you look at these articles. 2016, Bank of America is still chasing you, and you still in the cash crunch. That's 2000. It's only 2019, people. So Bank of America is still chasing you to get their monies. Right? But in 2019, you're over in Ghana. You're not doing anything here. You need somewhere unregulated. So now you're over in Ghana trying to sell packages. You're running. You're trying to be somewhere where it's unregulated. Right? You got some money left. You're not broke. And this is the person. So this is the person. This is the person that Boyce is calling a billionaire. Understand, Boyce wrote this. Like, this is your financial expert. Billionaire Mike Roberts. Come on, fam. Come on now. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I don't understand. What's going on? This is the man who is telling us we should invest in Ghana, and they got these wonderful hotels, and Boyce was going by the Labate Hotel or whatever and talking about how wonderful it is. Except here's a picture of the beach. This is the beach that Boyce was like, oh, it's beautiful. And the Robertses was saying, you got to come. But that's the beach. Like, understand, I can go here in America and find beautiful beaches. I can hop over to Jamaica and find, why in the world? What am I going to do with this? I don't want this. That's what you talking to me, $200,000. That's not safe. That's nasty. What kind of quality control do y'all have? Let me bring this up a little bit. Then it says the bad and the good of Labate, whatever, beach. Look at that. Look at that. How come Boyce didn't show us that? Huh? Why you don't tell the whole story? Don't make no sense. Start sounding like Pink Panther. What are you doing? What's going on? It doesn't make any sense. It's a real little finesse going on in there. It's a real, like, understand something. The people that Boyce just called, the man that Boyce just called a billionaire, still owe, like, the brothers, because there's two of them. Like, the bank alleges Roberts' brothers still owe $24 million from bad hotel loans. But you just call these people, like, they got all these bad loans still outstanding. Boyce just called him a billionaire. Like, how do we trust them and how do we trust Boyce? I don't think people even realize how Boyce is always all over the place. From flashcards to Bitcoin to this. He's always all over the place. This is scattered scavengerism to get us over there and get us involved in this kind of madness. You still owe money. How do you call this man a billionaire? He still owes the monies. This is the one part of this is his brother, but it's both of them. They had the business together. Robert's brother still owe $24 million. And you're like, this guy, he's a billionaire. He's, and I'm we're going to talk about what we're going to do business over here. Just be lost. Here's what's going to happen, though. You know how they're going to pay Bank of America off? The Roberts brothers, they're going to pay Bank of America off. They gotta live here. They're not going to live in Ghana. They're going to pay them off with your package money. Ah! So you're going to overpay for these packages. They're going to rack it up. Negroes coming over here, pay the 5, pay the 5. Before you know it, we got enough money to pay Bank of America with your package money. And this is who he is, and this is who Boyce is. They all the same people, just running around trying to find the bag and get the bag, even if the bag comes from the people they say they support. This is my community. I care about the black community. And watch me pick your pocket. Let me see if I miss anything, because I want to pick this bone dry. It's just, I don't even know how we allow ourselves. Oh, I know what I missed. Before we go to the calls, fam, somebody was in the comments talking about, and Antonio pointed it out, you know, the economy in Ghana is booming. The star. And this is from Antonio's tweet. And he pointed out that, see, these two tweets didn't happen at the same, these two articles, these are both Bloomberg articles. Right? Both Bloomberg articles. Let me bring it a little bit bigger for you. One is in April, one is in August. You can't defend. You cannot defend an August article with an April article. In August, people were losing their money, and it sounded like there was just some flim-flam scamming going on. It sounded like it was some funny business going on. Now the money's gone. See, you can't do business in a place where you don't have security, where there's no economic security, where you put some stuff in here and now it's gone. Now we don't invest in that no more. Now we invest in coconuts. Don't be upset. Don't cry. I know you had some different monies, but we got the new monies. Now we don't have the dollars no more. You had $30,000. We only have $5,000 in Gabiki money. And don't act like that. Now see, you black Americans always be acting up. Listen. Here's the quote from the article about things coming undone, the monies. The nation's markets regulator is looking into whether 21 fund managers violated rules by placing their clients' money into illiquid assets. The Securities and Exchange Commission has stepped up the pressure, blocking these money managers from accepting new investments for fear that they may use the funds to pay existing investors. That sounds really Ponzi scheme-ish. The number of fund managers dropped to 140 in 2018 from 155 a year earlier, as some voluntarily shut down and licenses of others were revoked, according to the SEC. As much as $5 billion in cities is tied up in unlisted bonds, direct private equity stakes, and other deals with small and medium-sized business, according to the SEC. Another $4 billion monies is stuck in fixed-term investments with banks rescued during the cleanup, savings and loans companies, and so on. Listen, let me tell you something. When the stuff goes down, and it starts collapsing in Ghana, ain't nobody gonna be there to rescue your ADOS butt and your $10,000 investment. Let me tell you what happens. Everybody want to talk about, we don't need no government. We're gonna do business with Africa. When the stuff goes down, you know who you gotta call? And it's usually capital, big capital. Companies, multinationals who are extending their reach from other countries. Whether it's America, France, or wherever, and they can, through the country, put pressure on the government. They're concerned about if they're doing some kind of business. Ain't nobody concerned about the $5 or $10 or $15,000 you may invest in. If they're not concerned about the Ghanaians' money, they sure ain't concerned about yours or mine. Tell me how you gonna navigate that when the money go poof. How you gonna figure that out? You gonna run over there? I'll show them. How you gonna do that? How you gonna protect yourself? How you gonna protect your money over there? You gonna live over there? Well then go then. Stop bothering me with it. Boy should have took all of his stuff over there and just lived over there and managed his investment and let us know how it worked out. Show us his Ghanaian portfolio. Don't come back and say, y'all just don't understand. No, stay there and manage your investment. Live there. Since we don't know, right? Live there with your billionaire friend. Is he there too? Since we are wrong about it, and it's wonderful, go be there. Stick it out. Let me know how everything turns out. What you gonna do? How you gonna do it? How the beach gonna be? Okay? Because I think you never moving there. I think you're looking for a place. I think you're doing the same thing old boy is doing. You're looking for a way to find a way to be a part of the people who collect the money for the packages or invest in the companies that collect the money for the packages. Which means you would be investing in fleecing ADOS as opposed to investing in building something and doing real investments. But like when it goes bad, don't call. I don't want to hear from you when they took the land back and I don't know what to do and I can't find a Ghanaian attorney and they don't want to be bothered with me and I can't fly over there. I got stuff to do over here. I got a business school class. Don't give me none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. Go handle your business. Buck up. Make it happen for yourself. Anyway, fam, we are at the 1 hour mark. I am going to want to hear what y'all got to say. Go to break as usual. Come back. I want to hear what you all have to say about the doorway of no return. Have any of you been? Do you plan to go? Why not? Are you going to do some kind of investment somewhere that you never see and you can never enforce and it doesn't have the same rules and laws here? Like, let me know what your thinking is. So give me a few minutes to set up the phones. We'll be back and we will have the conversation as usual. right, fam, we are back. Listen, I see a lot of new callers in here tonight. Listen, I don't have, and I'm just gonna say this: I don't know who's calling. I don't have a call screener. We're gonna do what we're gonna do, but let me just say, if you disagree, it's fine. Disagreement is good, is helpful. I have no problem with it. Don't be disrespectful though. We can, if you disagree, let's try to be respectful in the disagreement. I don't want to get my pressure up tonight. Okay, I just want to say that. So anyway, I am going. First of all, though, I'm going to 310. What's going on?
What up, y'all? This Tone Talks. I wanted to call in because I basically kind of started this off, and Yvette ended it tonight. And I just wanted to kind of frame some stuff because I think there's a lot of stuff being talked about that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yvette, if you could pull up the America and the Africa image. It's weird because we both been to Africa, me and Yvette. I'm talking about we've been to Africa. So, like, there's these whole assessments and these presumptions, like, that we didn't go to Africa, but we've been to Africa. Okay, let's put that to the side. But there's this other element that's going on, and there's an American image. I want to pull up both of them side by side. Where I made this point before, and I really think you need to sit on it to understand the gravity of the point. We're having a discussion about Ghana, and at worst, the west coast of Africa because of the connection between that west coast and slave trading. And all of a sudden, we go from Ghana to people doing videos about all of Africa. I think part of the reason that we're seeing that happen is because when you visually look at Africa as is shown here on the picture, and you look at America as we've seen it in maps that we use in our lives to travel America, it looks the same. So I don't think we understand how many people, I don't care what they say, like, I know it's not a country. They give it the characteristics of a country because they don't understand, like, that these aren't states. I know it sounds real simple, but these are not states. Meaning, and the gravity of how disconnected this place is, how they don't allow passport travel, how they are strong nationalists. I don't think we can talk about it in any other concept but what I'm going to get to in a second, which is the audacity to have two prices in the same country. One for the people that are there, that are Ghanaian, and another one for people coming there because you sold them into slavery. I come back to it. I don't know, I think for a lot of people, they got to sit down and understand my point of what I'm saying. Because there was a guy that made a video. I've never seen his videos before. He came in to talk about Ghana and the slave stewards, and he ended up in Somalia. I think it's because he thinks it's a country. That's why people keep talking about Africa, right, Yvette? They say Africa like America.
Yeah, they say, have you ever been to Africa?
They say Ghana like Ghana is a country, a state inside of the country of Africa. They don't have really any bearings on the fact that that's one whole country, and let's have that discussion. I would even go down to Benin in Nigeria if you look at the map, but you can't go over to Somalia. Like, what are you talking about? You don't even sound like you know how to even have a discussion about, like, regionality. It's just nonsense. And I kind of wanted to deal with that because once you understand that, you understand how crazed and what people are doing to create a fantastical oneness that doesn't exist in Africa, and Africans themselves have said it. We saw it in the City Lab article that we covered in 101. We covered this where the lady says there is no blackness and there is no Africanness in Africa. That happens once you come over the pond and get to America, because that allows you the doorway into America through African Americans. But let's move to the second thing. Can you pull up that the menu of the slave castle? Because I want to make sure we get the menu right. When you look at, you go on the internet, you can actually see the slave castle and the prices on the slave castle. What you find is that the slave castle is essentially, I believe, multiple times more expensive for black folk, for ADOS folk, than Ghanaians. So people might say, well, that's not a big deal. It's huge. You can't have two, like, you can't come here and call us xenophobic for just setting up Adolf, while at the same time creating a price structure in Ghana for us to see slave castles where we're charged multiple times as much as you.
Coming through good.
Now, I want to show you the menu because it's slick how they do it, so you can't really see it. One of the reasons you can't see it is because the price they give us is $7. So what you say to yourself coming out of the consumption-driven American society is essentially, that's fine. I sent it in probably just the grade that I had to send it in. I think they can see it. So what you see here, and it's a little fuzzy, but basically they charge us $7 US. But for the Ghanaian, it is basically, I think, $3 Ghanaian money. I think that what you end up with is, when you do the calculation, that's 88 cents. So it's 88 cents for a Ghanaian, and it's $7 for an ADOS person to go into this slave camp. Let me say it again. And one of the slick things they do, if you look at this, is basically put the Ghanaian price right next to the US dollar price. So, like, you don't know how bad it is. It looks like it's the same price, right, Yvette? So
Yeah, it looks like it's yeah.
It looks like they paying, even though they shouldn't be paying, they paying $5 and I'm paying $7. It's y'all charging me $2 more. No, they pay 88 cents. That's what that converts to. 88 cents US. And we pay $7. I don't think we understand how awful that is. I don't care what, like, the multiple between that. It should be free for us, and then whatever you want to charge them, you charge them. But on top of it, how you going to charge them 88 cents and charge us $7 and then get mad at us for trying to set up Adolf and demand a privileged status in America? I have no idea how this is working, but I do know that in Africa, the type of nationalism and tribalism that's practiced, people can't really grasp here because of how America actually is set up. It's set up as a place that kind of has open arms, for white Europeans and for black immigrants, whether we want to talk about it or not. We got to the point in America where we have DACA, and the Republicans can't even get rid of it. I'm not talking about whether you agree with it or not. I'm just talking about the fundamental idea of DACA. Where you have people who are born here illegally and they get the rights of citizens because they didn't choose to come here as children. Contrast that to a world where you have two price structures. One for the Ghanaian adults, that's 88 cents, and one for adult American blacks, that's $7. I want to bring up the $20 rooms. That's the other image. You know, it's a trip because everybody's talking about moving there. I want to move there. Right, Yvette? But then you want to go to the Lavadia Hotel. That's two summer night, and not be around the people that pay $17 a day. I mean, $17 a night because it's dangerous, or because that's not the level you want to live at. That's Ghana, though. How you want to take America, or the accoutrements of America, and put it in Ghana, and then tell black people that tell you don't need to leave America, you need to make America make you whole, that they wrong. Don't stay in the $17 room. And I don't understand how we get here. As soon as we get off the plane, we go into the tour, right? We get off the plane. I want to see everybody that's going to stay here. Not people that's going to just do the tour. Just take a different route. Y'all get on the little taxi and get to the $17 room. But they don't do that. They got them $13 and $16. The rooms is there. Now, the last thing that I kind of want to get into is the price point. So, Yvette, I broke it out in my video and put up the images. I want to make sure everybody understands. Yvette, you just talked about it today on your show, that the $200 price point don't make sense. If your base rooms are $16 and $13, how do you have $200 room? Like, you just basically have made a market for Americans to be gouged. But $200 is gouging them. I'm going to just leave that there and accept that, put a pin in it. So $200 is gouging us, right? But that ain't enough. That's not enough. These people they crying, they're emotional. It's kind of like taking your dog to a vet. You take your dog to a vet with a broken leg, they can charge you anything. Late at night, well, that's what this slavery thing is being used at. So they want to charge on a base level for the package. I want to get into the details of the package. The package is $5,000. That's 8 nights when you open up the package. 7 meals, 7 dinners, and then buffet breakfast. That's not your lunch. The tour is $7. The little tour is $7. So everything else should be around $7 too. That's the main thing. Y'all ain't got no theme park. So we got the flight. I found the flight at $750. We got the room, that's $200 a night. 8 nights at $1,600. 1,600 plus the 723. I want to bring my wife or my daughter or whatever. That's 700 more. We had $3,000. All of the stuff on the trip is about $135 up there. So we had $3,300. But y'all gonna charge me $10,000. So let's really look at what that $10,000 means, Yvette. You still with me?
I'm with you.
We're just doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all charge me $10,000, I'm gonna give y'all $1,000 on the ticket. I'm gonna give y'all $1,000 on each of our tickets, right? 10,000, 2 people. This is the base package. We ain't got no accoutrements, Yvette.
No accoutrements.
So the flight is, I'm gonna give y'all $2,000. I'm giving y'all a whole nother $300 on each ticket. Boom, $8,000. So really, y'all charging me $1,000 a night for the room? Come on, Pat. They charging us $1,000 a night for a room to live next to rooms that are $12 a night and $15 a night.
Oh.
The tour and everything at the place is only like $8 and $6, and that's American price. It's 88 cents to go in the main thing they have. Everything is like low, like they're charging you $1,000 a night to stay in rooms that are next to rooms that are $22 a night. That's what it boils down to. But that brings me over to the Bloomberg article. How is that different than what we just saw in the Bloomberg article? What we basically saw is worse than everybody has been saying. It's a collapse. That isn't just one bank that was doing fraud. When you read that article, you read it on your own. It's about the economy that made itself seem like it was booming, but in actuality was playing games with the numbers. So essentially they just closed like 20 banks. Like of the 27, the specifics you can get from the actual article. But like 29 of the banks was open one day, and the next day, 24 of them closed. And people still can't get their money. That's just in August. Mind you, that was only 10 days or 12 days before the Black Caucus left.
Uh-oh.
So the Black Caucus is telling us to go over there, and 12 days later, the banks are closed. Now, I'm not talking about whether they caused it. That's not what you have an obligation to know what you're selling us. I'm saying this to you because we look at this thing, and I don't think we understand how this shows that boys got to go. You don't understand basic economics. You can't sell us on a billionaire that ain't got a few dollars. You can't sell us on a $1.6 billion hole and then go over there and tell us to invest money. You can't keep telling us about Bitcoins and all kind of stuff. Look, the man blocked me on Twitter. I ain't said that to him like that. Tell him that we can have it out. On Skype and I'll let him know.
Ooh.
Check the day. Because I'm tired of this. Because like what he does, passive aggressive stuff. This whole thing was an attack on Adolf. Call it what it is. Everybody like, why y'all saying something? Because he did this as an attack on Adolf. No slick talk. This was all, see, this isn't a lifelong work of voice watching. This is basically a whole shot. That's what the shirt was. It's a whole, he didn't know how to get into Adolf. He was trying to, and he ain't let him in because he don't have no anchoring. So now he's going to try to flip it on some black empowerment stuff. This is all some little weak stuff. Tell that man we can set the date. All
All right, Tone. As always, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, boys. I ain't dealing with you no more. So Antonio said y'all said they would. I blocked you on my phone. We don't talk. I try to talk. You gonna always be trying to talk to Yvette because if it ain't never talking to you again in this life. If I can help it, Lord, if I see you coming, I'm crossing the street. I don't want to be bothered. I remember a lot of poor days. Boys Watkins, Mr. Financial Expert, couldn't pay. Hard times, and then you want to call all back to back to back. It's real iffy with you. So I had to just block you. I blocked you a long time ago, and I'm not gonna unblock you on my phone. This is what it is. Stop telling me. I reached out to Yvette. Yvette wouldn't know I blocked you. Stop saying that. I don't want to talk. Reach out to Antonio. Y'all can do what you do. I'm not talking to you. You real. You a pathological liar. I'm not doing it. So anyway, I'm going to the next call. I am going to 217. 217. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. This is Cynthia calling from Chicago. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So I really thought this whole thing about this Ghanaian trip was very interesting, even when the CBC went.
Okay.
And recently, let's go back to that. So recently, my mom was hospitalized. She was having some issues breathing.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you about that. But she's doing much better. Thank you
good.
very much. And so, but while we were at the hospital, I like to talk to like the doctors and the nurses, and I want to know who they are as people, and just to see what kind of care my mom was going to get. And I got into a conversation with one of the doctors that was attending my mom, who is from, he said, Benin, Ecuador.
Oh.
Which is like an island off of the coast of somewhere in Africa near the equator.
Okay.
And yeah, and he was telling me that he likes to go back to like Ethiopia and some other from the other countries. I'm sorry, to attend like the ANC conference because he feels like he wants to do more, to be more involved in like his country and doing some other things in Africa. Mm-hmm. And so I was asking him about. So, is there any talks about, like, unifying, like, the continent and things of that nature? And he said, yeah, but it's, like, a really small minority of people who really want to do that. And then he started talking about a lot of the exploitation that's happening in the continent by different countries, like China and France and some of these other European countries that's coming in. And one of the things that he was talking about specifically is that even though the continent itself is rich in resources, they don't have the actual trade routes to exploit the resources there. So the people that are there, even if they're owning land or if they want to make any type of do any deals, they really can't do it because they don't have the infrastructure to do so.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and so like. So I was even thinking, like, because I would hear all this talk about, oh, well, Black folk in America, we should go over to Africa and these different countries and invest. And I'm like, invest in what? The continent itself don't even have the trade routes in order for us to even exploit what's inside the land. And that's why the main people who live in there are living in abject poverty because they don't have the resources to do it themselves. Well, they have the resources, but they don't have the infrastructure to take advantage of that in the first place. So when he was just talking to me and was telling me all these things, I was just like, wow. And this is like from the horse's mouth itself, right? And so and then I see this whole stuff with boys, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing over there? What do you plan on accomplishing, and how you expect us to actually follow your suit, rather, in order for us to even be able to get anything from this continent or even from Ghana? When you actually look at the thing and seeing what they're trying to do, there's no way that we can even make a profit or anything off of that at all.
Well, that's well, fam, isn't that kind of what China's doing? China's saying, well, y'all don't have nothing over here. So if we own everything, if we own you, we'll build you some roads because y'all ain't done it. So we'll build you some stuff if we own your economy. We'll build you some stuff. You know, and I don't, you, so you just trading, like people like, well, the white people be oppressors. You're trading one oppressor for the other. And the thing, people say, well, what is Boyce doing? Boyce is doing the same thing he did when he was talking about Bitcoin. When the last time you heard him talk about Bitcoin? He always just chases stuff. He just chases, like, even when I was working with Boyce, he was doing Your Black World, that was media. He just jumps on one thing after the other, and tries to get whatever money he can get from it and go to the next thing. It's this ADHD. It's ADHD investing. You know, where you just kind of jump on what's hot and try to push it for as long as you can. Like if he was really into cryptocurrency, you would hear him still talking about cryptocurrency and still talking about Bitcoin. Now you don't see those videos no more. He just moved and nobody holds him accountable. And so you're gonna trade. So you're gonna leave America. Now America, you say, well, they both oppressors. I'm gonna go be with my people. Now this oppressor in America owes you. You built the country. You're gonna trade America for the Chinese who are running Africa, and so many of these African countries now coming in. They don't owe me anything. So I'm gonna go somewhere and be an immigrant in that country. I'm gonna be an immigrant in that country with an oppressor that doesn't owe me anything. And let me just say something too. We don't know, like, we're in a very transformational time too. We don't know what's about to happen. You could get somewhere and say, well, I'm going to have dual citizenship if they offer it, or whatever they decide to do. They don't have it now. They have a bold thing. But let's say they do. And you could have, like, we live in the Trump era. We don't know whether Trump's going to get reelected. We don't know who comes after Trump. Who could say, you could have somebody, you could have Trump or somebody else say, y'all went over there, y'all don't have citizenship no more. Or whatever. So what are you getting involved in? What kind of madness are you getting involved in? I saw a video of a Chinese man talking to a Kenyan black man and just basically telling him you're a monkey. Like, it was the most horrible thing I've ever seen. You're gonna go over there and deal with that. You would rather go over and deal with that than fighting politically for your debt over here. Now, Boyce ain't going nowhere. He ain't gonna live in Ghana. He gonna go and try to finesse and get some money. He gonna end up getting finesse, but he gonna go over there and finesse, try to get some money and get the bag or whatever. And that's what it's gonna be. That's why he had this whole. I ain't never seen Boyce do so much. He put music in the background, all kind of stuff. What are you up to? That had my antennas up too. You don't ever do nothing like that. You're not tech savvy. What are you doing? Who's doing your Instagram for you right now? Who's doing that? A lot of stuff going on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of stuff that's really funny looking, and I'm just like, and even like when you were talking about, like, you know, protections, right? So my mom is Jamaican. My dad is Adolf. And I remember even going to Jamaica, and I mean, it's a beautiful country, but oftentimes, especially now, they tell you don't go into like the markets, into like towns by yourself, especially if you're a tourist, because it's not as safe for you that way. And even I remember when we visited a long time ago, I only been there once. It was very dangerous for a person that was foreign to even purchase property there, because they didn't really have enough security to actually watch your property. People would actually watch you coming in to the property itself, and they would plan on robbing you, possibly killing you, capturing your land, things of that nature, because they don't have the same type of they don't have the same type of infrastructure as far as like protection of security like we do here. You know, and especially like, and Jamaica is very mountainous, very hilly. So like, if you purchase like one of those properties that's like in the hills somewhere, and you really don't have like a security detail watching your property 24/7, that's it for you. Kind of like I remember Tone remarking about the women that went to Ghana to purchase property, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that there was a dispute with the neighbors that was in that area, and they ended up dying, right? Yeah. And there were similar stories that that happened to people who even purchased, who were foreign, who were purchasing property in Jamaica a while ago. Now, I don't know if it's gotten better. Hopefully it did. But I just know that, you know, just even hearing that growing up, and, you know, and knowing that, like, some of these other countries that are not as developed, they don't have much infrastructure, I get really queasy even thinking about, I'm going to invest or even go into those particular places, knowing that I may not have the protection that I would if I did that here.
They say you have to pay the Ghanaian government to leave after your stay past your visa. and the Wall Street. God, I mean, it's so much, like, even in terms of that visa. But let me just say this: unless you're planning on living, see what happens is somebody said this in one of the comments too. I didn't screenshot that comment on Antonio's video, but what they said was everything's fine as long as the land isn't worth anything, right? The minute you come in and say, "Oh, I have a little bit of money, I'm a ADOS, I'm gonna fix this up," then you want to snatch it because it was fine when it wasn't worth anything. Now it's worth something, and now I want it, and I'm gonna take it from you because my people are here. You're here by yourself. Where your people at? Your people not here, right? So I'm gonna take it. And if you don't like me taking it, we don't have forensics the way Americans have forensics, and we take the saliva and the hair, we do all that. No, I'm just gonna kill you. And I think the woman's husband and Ghana died of like malaria or something. So your husband died of like a disease that we don't really have here, and then you got killed because of a land dispute, and y'all want to tell me that like we got to go over there and do business with? No, I'm not saying you can visit wherever you want to visit. I'm not. This is a doorway of no return. I don't intend on returning. But like, I don't even understand, especially at that price. I don't even understand what we're talking about. That woman didn't get killed by her family. She got killed by people who were in disagreement with her over land. That's not that they view us. They call us Obroni or Ibroni, whatever, for a reason. They view us as foreigners, and they're right. We are. Like, cut that tie. The minute we got sold over here, that's when you cut that tie. It's like an umbilical cord. It's cut. You can't keep going. You don't have an umbilical cord at 3 years old and try to run back to your mama. You love her if she's your mom, but that's not the same thing as like Mother Africa. You don't keep the cord. The cord is cut. We're not, and nobody's saying that we're not black. See, that's what the cord, like people say, you saying we're not black. No, we're the descendants of slaves and slave masters. And we're a unique amalgamation in America. We're not either. We're like this. We don't go around calling ourselves white people. Same way we don't shouldn't go around calling ourselves African. We're a unique group of people.
Yes, we are.
So I want to thank you, fam. I appreciate your call. I'm gonna try to get to the next one, but I appreciate your call. That was interesting. Yeah, we don't go around calling ourselves. I mean, come on, man. It's just wow. Whew. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. I was trying to read it. It says, this is a rare moment of delight for Mr. Thompson, who still anguishes over his decision not to follow his wife, Miss Shipman, back to the U.S. 2 years ago. He wants to visit his wife and their son this spring, but he now has a problem. Having returned to the motherland, he is legally unable to leave. You're going to get over there and get trapped. He is legally unable to leave. His last visa to live in Ghana expired a year ago. Until he normalizes his status by paying a fine or giving additional explanations for his visa violations, Ghanaian authorities won't let him leave the country. That's your family. They won't let you go home. But have a nice home going. I am going now to 917. I have two 917, so 91731. I'm coming to you, 91731.
Hello, Yvette.
What's going on?
How you doing, Yvette? Good evening. My name is Mr. G. I'm Ghanaian. First of all, I just want to say that. And number two, I love your show.
Oh, thank you.
And I've been listening to you and Tone for a little while now. I actually did not agree at all with anything Tone was saying at first, but it's been some time and I've learned a great deal.
Okay.
As far as Boyce Watkins, Boyce Watkins is a nobody. He's anybody with two eyes knows that he's a scammer. And I just don't want anybody to leave this chat or to leave this video thinking anything ill of my country, because deep down we all have our outside differences and everything like that. But to be quite honest, when you really get to sit in a room for 1 hour with somebody, you get to know them for who they are and everything like that. You know what I mean? We might not agree on everything, but as far as I can agree with you on the Boyce Watkins thing.
Here's the thing, Carl. Are you Ghanaian American? Like, were you born here, or did you come here later?
No, I was born there. I was born in Ghana. I've lived in the United States for 27 years.
Okay. See, the thing is, here's the thing. it's not an individual affront. Like one of my favorite people who comes here is Ghanaian. It's not an individual thing. I think cut down your background a little bit for me, Carla. I think what we have to understand.
Pick up my phone. Excuse me.
No problem.
Yes.
I think what we have to understand is Ghana is a different country. I know that sounds basic, but it's. I think ADOS try to push a kind of we're all the same, and I think Ghana's kind of doing that right now for tourism, right? And we don't have the money to do what is being done, and we're not going to relocate. You've been here 27 years. Why did you come here? If you don't mind me asking.
I would love to answer your question. I was born here as a child. You know what I mean? My parents wanted to come here and make it big. My father's a professional. My mother's a professional. I am a professional. You know, so what I'm saying is that, oh man, I've lost my train of thought. I've lost my train of thought. I'll take it back.
Okay, no problem, fam. But no, see what I'm saying is, your parents came here for a reason, right? And they didn't stay there for a reason. Now, I'm not saying who plundered Africa. I'm not getting into the West. We all know what the West has done, right? I'm not getting into that conversation. What I'm saying is that the coming here is because there is an opportunity here that doesn't to build and to have some kind of stability in life that doesn't exist elsewhere. And we should not pretend otherwise. Your family are professionals. They want to use their profession, right? They want to be able to. I'm trained in this. I want to be able to have a career.
Yeah, I agree with you, because the thing about Ghana is there's really no middle class. There are very, very wealthy people over there, and there are, there are very poor people over there. It's not like here in the United States where there's somewhat of a middle class. You know, the middle class is the most heavily taxed, and it goes through a lot of the ills in society as well. What I'm saying is that, over there, it's the way of life and the way things are. Yes, it is a third world country, and it's very corrupt, but the people that live there are used to that way of life, and that they don't know any better. And trust me, I frown upon a lot of things that go on in Ghana. Okay. You have no idea. And I agree with you on a few things. And then, I just want to say that I have listened to what you and Tony have been saying, and it resonates to someone like, myself, because I'm not ignorant. I actually listen to both sides of the coin. And what you and Tone are saying, and what you and Tone have forged, I don't know if it's just you and Tone and the rest of ADOS have forged something very solid as far as your argument, and I wish y'all the absolute success.
Well, and thank you, fam. And as an ally, we wish you success too. As a black immigrant ally, we wish you all the success too. Because I don't think people understand when ADOS benefits, like everybody benefits. People haven't caught on to that yet. Like, our justice claim is our justice claim. But like, when we are the engine that runs the black politics in this country and not Democratic Party, everybody wins. So we wish you the best too.
I'm very well aware of what's going on, politically. I'm not politically blind. I'm actually quite politically astute. So you guys have a lot of, I don't know why these news corporations, these media outlets are not saying that it's actually, this is the core of the black argument. This right here, I just want to say that as an immigrant and from someone looking from the outside in, or just, just someone that's just observing, you know what I mean? As a casual observer, I see this is the core of the argument right here.
Appreciate it.
You know what I mean? And y'all need,
Appreciate it, fam.
Yeah. That's really all I want to say. I just want to anybody want to get a chance to say something, feel free.
I appreciate it. No, I thank you. I thank you for coming in and talking about how your family's professionals and they want an opportunity to do that somewhere. I just don't see what and I appreciate it. And I don't want anybody to think that like we're opposed to we're mad at Ghanaian individuals. No, we fine. What we have to understand though is what this gentleman just said. His parents immigrated here for a specific reason, for opportunity. I just really don't understand how you have black immigrants coming here right? In large numbers since Reagan, there was a boom. And then you have us talking about we're going to run over there. If they're coming here, obviously they're telling you by their movement, because you have to understand what it takes to pick up and transplant and leave a whole country. That's you leaving people that you know. Everybody that you know. A whole different country, culture, continent, everything. They're coming here for a reason. You don't do that for nothing. Why are you trying to go there? So wait a minute. They're coming to a first world country and you're trying to go to a third world country. Tell me how that makes sense. What he just told you is that there's a high income inequality. There's no middle class. See, what we've been complaining about is America is the shrinking of the middle class. What he's telling you is in Ghana, there's no middle class. There's rich people and there's poor people. And I ain't rich. So they're going to sweep me into the poor. So I got to go somewhere. His parents said they got to go somewhere where they can be professionals. They can do what they do and they can make a way for their child. I don't understand how we don't understand it. Like, we ain't going nowhere. We shouldn't go nowhere. We have a specific justice claim. We ain't been paid for nothing. Where are you going? And what are you investing in? Boys is in Chicago. What have you invested in Chicago, boys? You got money to invest. What have you invested in Chicago? Don't make no sense. You want to act like big money grip. What money have you put there? So anyway, going to the next call. I am going now to 206. Oh, dang, who is it? Anyway, let me see. 206. 206, what's your name?
Hello?
206, you there?
Hello?
Yes, 206.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Marie, and I'm calling from Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. So let me just say that I'm just a person that loves to travel.
Okay.
And I went to Tanzania and Kenya last year, last holiday, and I am going to Ghana this year. I have to say that this is the most expensive trip. The ticket is twice as much. When you mentioned the ticket was $700, my ticket is $4,300 round trip. It's unbelievable. So when I go to these different countries, I don't sign on to some tourist thing. I don't sign on and do a package. I just try to connect with the folks there and see how I can sort of get around on a budget. I do think that it is extremely unfair that non-Ghanaians, the same thing happened to me in Kenya, Nairobi. There was one tourist fee for non-Kenyans and so forth. So it is a very expensive trip for me. And because my friends don't want to go, I am somebody that would like to stay in a more secured place. So I will have to spend that $200. I think that some people feel like they're just tired of the U.S. and if they're established here in the U.S. and they have a pretty good amount, they can go over there and do well. But only if they're really established here and have their own business here, whether it be online or basically online business, they could probably do well there in Ghana. But I agree with you. I don't know that I would ever live there. This will be my first time going to Ghana. I haven't listened to Voice's video, so I don't know what he's really inferring about just having a business there or traveling to have a business there.
Yeah.
I just know the cost, because there's Appalachella, because this is the return, they have hiked up the prices. So when you talk about $7 versus 88 cents, for me to travel from Accra to, is it Elmina Castle? It's $260. That's for a tour. That's to get there on transportation. So that's something that I won't do through the tour line. It's something that I would just have to do through making connections there. So I think for someone like me that is kind of going single, that there's paying a little more money to have the protection is important to me. But once I get there, I just try to make connections, and of course that would be through the hotel. So I think it's just going to be a good experience. I'm hoping for a good and positive experience. So that's kind of what I wanted to really say. And I really enjoy your channel. And both you and Tone I've really learned a lot. So I really appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, fam. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And let me just say this. As you grow older, maybe things change. I think young people tend to think they're invincible or something. As you grow older, things change. Let me tell you one of the things I look for now. If I don't get to travel, I don't have the monies. But if I were to travel, like extensively, I want a good hospital. I know people sometimes don't think about stuff like that. But like, I want a good trauma unit. Where if I'm in a car accident. These are things that I look for. I don't just look for, oh, they got culture, whatever. No. Show me the hospital. Show me what the emergency room looks like. Show me your trauma unit. Do you have a burn unit here? What do we have here? Oh, we don't have those things. We don't have, well, I don't really want to be here like that. Because, you know, my life means a lot to me. I need to know how long does the ambulance take to get here? Oh, y'all don't really do ambulances like that, huh? Okay, well, that's a problem for me because I don't know what life holds. I might need one. The one time I did visit, you know, Liberia, I told the guy, I said, what's the ambulance? He laughed. He said, how do I know? I just accident just happened. No, wait a minute. Whoa. That's a very cheap way to treat a life. If the accident happens, it just happens. That's how y'all live. Well, he gonna die. What? Oh, you gotta pay cash. Wait a minute. What if it's not on me? Y'all got cars. I don't care. No, it's too much. It's too much. No. Jesus Christ. Anyway, 407. I'm coming to you. 407. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? It's too much.
Hey, it's Zarina.
Hey,
so,
what's going on,
of course, you start talking about loans, and I'm gonna call in.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I just wanted to kind of go into and kind of paint the picture for people for what it really looks like, at least from a lending standpoint, on these robbers not being able to pay their loan back to Bank of America. Because, like we kind of figure, oh, it's a lot of money, that's why they can't pay it back. But I'm going to kind of paint this picture for you. So I want to know, and for people kind of playing along, do you actually know how long you have to be in default? Like how many days behind on a loan payment or mortgage payment that you have to be before legally the bank can start the foreclosure on you? You have a guess?
Mm-mm.
It's 120 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 months. All they can do before that 4 months is threaten you. They could call you every day. They could send you letters. But from a federal law standpoint, no one can start foreclosure on you until you're 120 plus days late. The average delinquency in 2008, the average delinquency was 256 days for foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
By 2013, the average days delinquency was 803 days. So that's over 2 years. So the fact that these guys were in some sort of foreclosure in 2012 means that they were at least 2+ years behind on not making payments. But there's also a second way that a bank can start foreclosure on you, and that's basically you're not paying your taxes and your insurance. Because when you have a loan, it doesn't matter how big the loan is or what the loan is on, county taxes trump everything. So if you don't pay your county taxes, they can literally wipe out your mortgage investment. So Bank of America probably at some point got alerted that Mr. Roberts didn't pay the taxes, and Bank of America had to step in and pay the taxes for him. Well, when a bank does that, usually what they'll do is they'll put you in some sort of escrow, meaning like, okay, your monthly payment is going to go up because you got to pay us these taxes back. At that point, if you cannot pay your monthly payment plus the escrow, a bank will then file you in what's called non-accrual, which is just a fancy way of saying that the bank has no way financially to make their money back on this loan because the borrower is just too broke to pay us back. We've paid taxes for them, we've paid insurance for them, and we're never going to make our money back. All right? So that's pretty much how they got into this financial mess with Bank of America, because Bank of America said, look, we're never going to make this money back. So I want you to follow me for half a second, because I do residential stuff. Residential mortgages. Right now, the national delinquency rate is 1.15%. So virtually less than 2% of loans right now are delinquent, and this is lower than the pre housing market, all this stuff. So this is pre 2000, and it's actually the lowest amount of delinquency that we've ever had on record. Prepayments, meaning like people not just paying their mortgage but paying ahead on their mortgage. Prepayments have more than doubled from this time last year. Prepayments are up 134%. So then you have to think, well, where the heck is all these people getting this money from? Okay, where are they getting this extra money that they're not just paying their mortgage, but they're paying ahead? They're getting it because they're tapping into their equity. They're refinancing their houses. The total tappable equity in mortgages as far as residential right now is $6.2 trillion. There's $6 trillion in tappable equity. And if you tap into it, that's a capital gain, which goes into opportunity zones, which is another discussion. So the average homeowner right now has $119,000 in equity, all right? When you have equity like that, you have wealth. So $119,000 is the average. So let me ask you, I'm going to bring up this whole thing around. If Mr. Roberts owes Bank of America $24 million, why hasn't he tapped into the equity that his properties have in order to pay off his debt? The answer is he's not creditworthy because no one wants to take a risk and write another loan to him so he can pay off his debt. So either that or he owes too much money and he's not able to get a loan big enough to pay off what he owes and the underlying mortgage. Either way, the man is screwed, okay? And he has to find the capital somewhere else, and he's going to find it, I guess, selling tickets to Negroes in Ghana or whatever. I don't know what he's going to be doing. But I'm just painting the picture from a lending standpoint, how screwed this man is when everybody is able to tap into their equity right now, and this man can't. So that's it.
He had a bunch of hotels. It wasn't just one. Like, that's what people, it was a bunch of them.
It wasn't just one. He had 6. Yeah. Right. So he's millions of dollars in debt and can't tap into it because he has no equity or he owes too much money. That's just how it boils down. And he's living in Ghana because it's much cheaper over there because he just can't afford to live over here.
Oh.
Just my opinion.
Yep, sounds about right.
That's it.
He's running. Like I said, he's running.
All right, bye.
Bye. running. He's a billionaire, though, according to Boyce. Billionaire. With a B. Bam. We're almost to the end of the show. Let me go. This is the lightning round. I got to get a lightning graphic for the lightning round. Make your call quick. Let's go for like a minute or less so we got a full queue right now. Lightning round. If you disagree, I ain't got time to really fight. So lightning round, 1 minute. Let's get it in, get it out. Let's try to get in like at least 4 callers. So I'm going to go right now to 704. 704, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. This is Donna Sharif calling from North Carolina. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'll be real quick.
Okay.
My husband is from Liberia.
Okay.
I go every 2 years.
Okay.
The last time I went, I saved $45, and he usually takes a container selling cars. We never make any money when we go to Liberia. We lose money.
Okay.
So them talking about, I'm going to go stay in Africa, no. One of our U.S. dollars to Liberian currency is $180. For you to buy 20 bottles of water, you're looking at 25 U.S. dollars. So there is no getting ahead moving to Africa or whatever. So, and my husband is from Africa. You can't go alone. You can't be out by yourself. There's so much corruption. You have the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich because everybody that's in government steals the money. And that's just how it is over in Liberia. And that's all I have to say. And thank you so much.
I visited there and they bribed me a lot. Like, that's one of the things that I found. Like, I had to send somebody out, or they would say this place is closed. I'm like, it's not closed. It's the middle of the day. Oh, but it's closed to you. It's closed to you. And they call me.
The thing about it, I hate to cut you up, but the thing about it was because I was with my husband or whatever, I didn't have such a problem. However, but when we had to go to Monrovia because we stayed in Bong County to get the stuff from the port. So whenever you're coming into a different town,
there is a roadblock. And it's not like a roadblock like we see a roadblock. No, it's a roadblock where they have a rope across the road. One person is holding it and another person is holding on the opposite side. They'll come to the car and they'll say, okay, we want to see your ID. Since he still had his Liberian ID, he showed him his ID, and then you pass him a little bit of monies or whatever to pass through the roadblock. Sometimes they will make you pull over and search your car just because. So it's not like how they're saying it. It's not safe over in Africa if you're not from that country. So
when I passed through, I came through Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, and they was during that time they was burning tires or something. I hid in the back seat. I jumped back in the back. I don't want to be seen if they burning tires. What you doing? Because it's obvious I'm not from here, so I don't want to be. I don't think people really understand. Like you just can't be like we all have as ADOS in this country, the way we have been treated by police. And they all, how they see a gun all the time, and when it's us, we have every right to demand like overhaul and change and accountability. But I don't even think we really think enough about like there is somebody to call if somebody starts shooting at you or doing something to you. Like I didn't see nobody around when they was burning them tires, and I didn't even know why they was burning the tires.
There is nobody that's going to defend you. There is nothing. And when I went over the last time I went over there, it was a election. That's when George Weah, the soccer player, got in office. And I remember telling my husband, I said, he's going to take this country down even more than Salif did. And he has, because it was 140 to $1 American dollar. Now it's $1 American dollar to 180.
Yeah.
Then people cannot survive. I saw people jumping into the dirty lakes, taking baths, kids selling caterpillars on the side of the road. When I tell you it's bad, if you don't have the money or you're not in government, okay, his uncle was one of his uncles is works for the roads or the city. He makes $40 US per month.
Yeah,
US
that's
dollars.
what. Yeah,
that's
that's
what about 180, but that's what he makes, and he works for the city.
Yeah, and let me just say this, and I appreciate you. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in. And let me just say this. Because I want to make sure I get this through. I think most of the Liberian people I encountered were very nice. Like I'm not saying that they were bad people. I thought they were very nice people. They were, and they knew that I was American. And they would all tell me the story of Liberia and how it connected to America, and it was fine. But even knowing that story, they still called me Yankee. That's all I'm gonna say. And it wasn't because of I acted. We were all very cool and had a great time together. They just knew that I wasn't them, but I don't take offense to it because you're right. You're exactly right. We have a history that intersects, but you're right. I'm not. A lot of people go there. I don't know why they call me that. I ain't no Yankee. No, they right. They right. What are you mad at them for telling you the truth about yourself? Anyway, going to the next call. Lightning around. 917. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yvette to the call now. What is going on? This is Divine, a.k.a. Black Gutter from Brooklyn.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Long time no see. I saw you got a chance to meet you in Atlanta at the painting set.
Yeah. What's the biz?
Everything's smooth. I know you said you ain't got no time to disagree, but I gotta disagree with you just a little bit.
That's fine. We're just gonna do it quick, but that's fine.
Every time I move a little bit back over to the Pan-Africanisms, you gotta come in and just shut the. You gotta drop the bomb and shut the building down. That's where we disagreeing tonight. you done squirt Boyce Wakanda and Philip Vibes and all these other grifters, and I used to be on that side of the line where it was like, why can't we just work together? But I see so much value in why you got to hold these people accountable and expose the BS. Because if we were ever even trying to work with these people with the way they're grifting, they would sell us out on the back end anyway.
Yeah. Back end, front end, side, middle, wiggle.
Exactly. That's right. I want to point out, though, with the Mr. G. He was the other 917 call.
Okay.
Mr. G from Ghana. Something he said that really stuck out to me. They come over here and they always try to denigrate us for either holding up the American flag or saying that our country is America. But that gentleman from Ghana, he said something real profound. He said he was born in Ghana, but he lived in the United States for 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he called in so that no one leaves this video having a bad taste in their mouth about his country.
Mm.
So he lived here for 27 years. He complained about the corruption and everything else going on over there, but he still claims Ghana as his country.
Mm.
And so how dare any one of them come over here and tell us to not claim our country that we built, that we pushed them to get past all the corruption that's been going on, and we're still having that fight and looking to get what we're due, and they try to shame us for claiming our country, and we built the damn thing.
Yep, like you're being an imperialist. You're siding with imperialism. You crazy person. Nobody likes everything their government does. And truth be told, there was nobody who stood against imperialism more than like King and others. Like we had a lot of people who stood against imperialism in terms of our leaders. What are you talking about? That makes us, King said that he stood against that and all the war, but he still said we're American. You can do both things. You can say we are opposed to all these adventures abroad, but we're American regardless. That's just what it is. It's a fact.
That's right. I want to say one last thing, and I'll be off the phone.
Sure.
One last thing, and it's about Pan-Africanism, because like I said, you done crushed my heart again, which is good, because it's lineage is where it's at, and I'm with you. I just want to talk about Pan-Africanism as it was done in New York, and as it's still done in New York, and what it was sold to us like. And here in New York, I can't speak for anyone else, but here in New York with Pan-Africanism, it was sold to us because there was this huge void in our psyche and our mentality about being a lost tribe. And when you look at what's happened, especially like if in Harlem, they got all these African stores where they sell the kente cloth and all the other garments and all that other stuff. And what's interesting is that when you break down how they interact with ADOS in New York, it's totally transactional, kind of like the way that white supremacists deal with us. They're not really our friends, but if they can get our money, they'll talk nice to us and deal with us on that level. And so I'm so glad and thankful for ADOS, especially here in New York. And shout out to ADOS New York City. We're gonna get together this Wednesday. And what I want to say is that because our relationship has been totally transactional with a lot of Pan-Africanism and Africans from the continent selling us this idea of a lost cause, ADOS has come into this conversation and has changed the terms and conditions of that relationship.
Change the terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions. The reason why a lot of people are angry about that is because you know how when you go down that long list, they say go down the terms and conditions. You got to check the box.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't
at the
want
bottom.
to check the box.
Yeah.
Because they understand that once they check the box, that little lost cause economy that they built for themselves disappears because we know who we are now.
You're right. You ain't lying.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it.
Help me realize that.
I know. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. Thank you, fam. And a wonderful pain and sip it was. Going to the last caller probably because we're over. It's after midnight on this coast. I know a lot of people got a lot of stuff to say, but I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. I'm going to 312 in this queue. The longest 312. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Yvette? It's Harlan from Phoenix.
What's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to make we haven't connected since the big connect day. We just want to bring up some of my personal experience with some of the people that I met in Massachusetts from Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, they were from the aristocracy.
Okay.
In Ghana, and they had relationships that most of the commoners didn't have. And what I noticed was just a lack of vision. Because after we had left the job, we stayed in contact, and we used to have conversations all the time about like what business could he start over there, or things like that. And it was clothing. It was retail type of businesses, not infrastructure type of things. And I remember we looked up on the CIA fact book how much they were importing like $8 billion worth of rice from China or something. And I was just like, look, we can get a rice processing machine, right? Or start, I can teach you how to splice fiber, splice fiber optic cable. There's a brother from Africa in Chicago that used to do some things. This is the type of stuff that Africa needs, is infrastructure stuff. But this was in 2012, 2010. And when those people are coming here, and I'm just like, you've got access to capital, and you wanna make tennis shoes. I mean,
but you know what it is though. You know what it is though, fam, too. Like, if you're gonna do that kind of thing, like, one of the things that happens or needs to happen, like, the government has to play a big role, right? And so, like, you partnering with the government to provide XYZ. If the government is not doing that, or doesn't have the capacity to kind of provide a framework, or we're going to kind of loan or do whatever, then, like, you just like, I'm just gonna sell consumer goods or whatever, because like everything, there's a bit of debate. I remember when Obama said, to Mitt Romney, you didn't build this. Part of what he was saying to Mitt Romney was like, nobody builds their business. Like, the framework for business, was built for the people who are rich now and did all that stuff. It was built by like the government, provided everything for like it's kind of like you have an environment, and like just like you have a plant has to have a certain amount of light or whatever. The government provides that thing, right? And then and that's how those businesses got to be successful after, once we get to be developed and all that stuff. You are in countries, and when you deal with countries that are underdeveloped, like, there's so much insecurity and so much uncertainty. And that's kind of what they're dealing with. Like, you can say, I'm gonna build a house. Well, you can't put copper in it or whatever. Maybe are they stealing copper like doing in America? Like, it's so much that goes into like a successful business. Wealth is one thing, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into it, I think, and it's a complicated thing. But I'm gonna let you have the last word, Carl.
Yeah, but that's why they want us to come over there. They know that African Americans, the Akatas, right, have a certain level of competency that is missing, right? And if you want to have a job over there, someone will give you the money to do something big, to make a real impact in industries that have long been sold up here. There's no way you could have a railroad here. There's no way you could own a gas pipeline here. There's no way you could build a port here. All those businesses have long been tied up. But now it's going for the Chinese. But there's a tremendous opportunity. But again, you have to deal with all of those challenges. Yeah. And you have to be willing to get dirty.
Yeah, and that's not what we're accustomed to. we're not accustomed to that. We're accustomed to. I don't think. You know what I think, and thank you, Carl. I appreciate you calling. That was an interesting call, and one of the things that I kind of feel like that we don't want to admit to ourselves. It's almost like we don't want to admit that like we're westernized. Like, we want to be like, no, we're just like them. No, you're westernized. Whether you like it, I don't care what you want. Like, we're a westernized group. That's what America is. It's the West. That's kind of what we're used to. It's kind of what we're comfortable at. I don't see how we don't understand that. That's just me talking. Fam, we are after midnight, so I'm going to end the calls for now. If we didn't get through to you, I apologize. We will finish this conversation another time, because I'm sure we're not done. I'm sure there's somebody else that's going to be talking and saying some stuff that don't make sense. That's kind of what we do here, kind of correct errors all the time. But I appreciate everybody who called in. Now, we had some good calls tonight. I appreciate that. Don't forget, They Were Her Property. That is going to be the book club book, January the 30th. Do not forget about that. We will handle that. We will have a great conversation as usual. Take notes. Make little bookmarks and things like that. I came across some great little things, like not the little tabs, but like little but they're like little lined paper with a little thing on the outside where you can take notes with on the note, but it's not one of those little stickies. It's something different. It's a great little thing I found. Anyway, fam, please hit that like button before you leave. If you want to donate, you can go to donatebrown.com or patreon.com/ycarnell. Please take care of all of that good stuff. Please also hit the bell if you have not hit the bell. Smash that jump. If you haven't checked the bell, if you have hit the bell, please check the bell to make sure you still set up to get notifications. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. The newsletter link is in the description to the video, or will be in the description to the video. Fam, it was a wonderful show today. A wonderful interaction with everybody and what happened. And I don't know what we're gonna do with these scamming people though, because you know what, we don't get scammers out of here. Like we just kind of be like, well, he did that was wrong, but sometimes he has good information. I think one of the things we have to learn is that, like, nah, you got to get the scammers out. You got to get the scammers out. And I have taken full responsibility for like trying to get boys out, because we used to work. We used to work together. So I'm like, I didn't realize he was a scammer, but once I did, you got to try to get him out of here. Like we gotta be on the same page in terms of like not letting people fleece our community so that they can have a come up. So until next time, family, please finish your libations. Enjoy the rest of your night and get to bed so that you can have a great tomorrow. I will see you next time, fam.